Yo, welcome back to another episode of The Source. Last night, absolutely tragic. This whole week is kind of shitty, but I'm bouncing right back. Let's run through tonight's games.
Welcome to The Source.
Hey, get the source.
The Source. The Source.
Hey, get the source.
First up, I want to address Kevin Love and what happened the other night. You know how, a mother can lift a minivan if, her baby is trapped underneath it? I think that's what we're dealing with here. This man, Kevin Love, clearly the laughingstock of the league, clearly doesn't belong on an NBA franchise, but his pride, right? His pride lifted the minivan. You know what I'm saying? His pride willed that to happen. Mark my words, that will not happen again. Kevin Love absolutely sucks. Kevin Love is not an NBA player. Kevin Love is a soccer dad in his 50s that he just happens to be standing on a basketball court wearing an NBA jersey. Wizards minus 8.5 is an absolute gift from the Lord. I don't care that Bradley Beal's not playing. They've proven that they can play without him. Give me the Wizards minus 8.5. It's on the menu. Anything changes, Twitter, Instagram story, and Facebook next game. Next up, we have Jazz versus Thunder. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, questionable, so they may be making their return to the lineup. And I don't blame the Jazz. I don't want Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley shaking off the rust when the playoff starts. I want them to get a couple games in, make sure they find their groove. I don't know if you remember last year, Donovan Mitchell was a monster in the bubble. Led the entire league in points per game in the playoffs last year. I think he averaged over 36 points a game in the playoffs. I like how when I'm picking an Oklahoma City game, I'll rush the injury report, I gotta find out if Dort's playing. What? Who cares? Seriously, who cares who's playing for that team? The only piece on that roster that has any value is SGA, and I'm almost positive he's done for the season. 99.9% sure. They won't actually say it, but he's been gone forever. There's only, 1 or 2 games left now. He's done. So, I'm going to fade him. Give me the Jazz minus 13.5, Jazz minus 14, whatever it is. Keep an eye on the injury report, though. I want to see if those two guys play. But let's bet the Jazz here on the menu. If anything changes, Twitter, Instagram story, and Facebook next game. Next up is Nuggets versus Pistons. Yo, have you seen the Pistons injury report in this game? How are you even allowed to do this? Take a look at this injury report. I think the NBA needs to step in and be come on. I understand tanking's going to happen, but they need to step in and be you can't do this. Mason Plumlee is listed out tonight for rest. Rest from what? He hasn't played a basketball game in 6 days. He's only played 1 basketball game in the last 3 weeks. He hasn't played since last Saturday. Before that, he hadn't played since April 26th. What is he resting from? How is he exhausted? Is he not a professional athlete? Don't even think about it. Just bet Denver. Detroit's been resting guys for a while, but even some of the guys that they haven't been resting are out tonight. Isaiah Stewart. Usually he's one of the guys that still plays for Detroit. He's not even playing. This game is basically Sadiq Bey versus the Nuggets. Bet the Nuggets to cover. I haven't even heard an update on Michael Porter Jr. yet. Most likely putting the Nuggets on the menu whether he plays or not. If anything changes, Twitter, Instagram story, Facebook next game. Next game up is Sixers Magic in Philly. This line opened with the Sixers laying 13.5, and 98% of the money is on Philly here. Yes, the Sixers are definitely the right pick here. I'm not going to post Cole Anthony and try to get you to bet the Magic or anything. Philly's definitely the right side to be on. But last night, holy shit, man. That was disgraceful, Philly. I watched that entire game. I had it on the second TV, watched the whole game. That was bad. You had your guys on the floor. That was bad. It wasn't just Miami went on a 24-2 run and then Philly just couldn't get back into it because the run was too intense. It wasn't like that. They were consistently getting beat the entire game in almost all facets of the game, too. The Heat were the better team on offense, on defense. They just beat the shit out of them. Does that worry me to lay 13.5 to Magic the next night? No, not really. It's Orlando, and Philly will bounce back. But if I'm a Sixers fan, I did not like that last night. That would worry me a little. Give me Philly minus 13.5. I'm going to throw it on the menu. VIPs, this is probably not going to be in the 3-pick plan. Most likely going to be in the 5-game plan. Make sure you check your sheets at 5:30 to see where it ends up landing. But I am going to throw it on the menu. Anything changes, Twitter, Instagram story, Facebook, next game. Actually, there is no next game. I'm not touching the last two. I'm not touching Mavericks Raptors. That line's all the way up at 14, and I'm not laying that much with Dallas. But I'm also not betting the Raptors to cover anything right now with all their pieces out. Also, Warriors Pelicans. Have you seen the injury reports in those games? It looks like both teams are going to have complete backup rosters. And seriously, both teams, all their major pieces on the injury report. Not touching that either. I think there's enough value in the games I just listed to have a nice little come up today, even without those games. VIPs, check your phones and emails at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be sending out the sheets. Let's rebound. For this whole week has been shitty, man. But tonight, we pick up a couple units. We start to climb back. Let's try to even out this week before it ends. Play smart, pick your spots. Let's make some money tonight. I'll talk to you on Twitter.